fuck are you talking about? We haven't worked since you were 15. 41 years. To be number 7 on the call sheet of a goddamn student film. I think it's a good idea. You listen to me. You're Nick fucking...
Looks away, looks back, looks away.
Wow! Whoa, okay!
Whoa!
The fuck are you talking about?
We're back.
It's Booty Whiskey.
Booty Whiskey time.
Second to last episode of this season.
Crazy.
Unbearable weight of massive talent.
I feel it on my shoulders, dude. That was
Every day I feel that way.
what a spectacular movie.
Yeah, that fucking rocked.
It felt like an award for all of the work we've put in watching these movies. It was like the cherry on top to this long thing we've been doing.
I'm really glad we waited towards the end.
Yes.
Just because some of those references, I hadn't seen all the movies yet until we did this podcast, and some of those references, you could have missed them.
Easy. Some deep references, dude.
Yeah, some deep cuts.
Yeah.
Like he's drinking on the bottom of the pool. I think he does that in Leaving Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then there was one other reference. What was it?
There's a lot of them.
Well, there's a bunch of obvious references, but just the split personality thing general.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Adaptation, it's still funny.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything.
No, not at all.
In the same way.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking dope.
Dude. I was all about it. I was on my edge of the seat the whole time. Just enjoying that movie.
Yeah, dude, this was just nonstop, satisfying, pleasurable watching experience.
Yeah, just fun.
It was a great action comedy, classic in the genre, as good as Rush Hour.
Oh yeah.
In terms of that format.
Yeah, definitely.
2 funny leads, against the backdrop of an action story.
Do you mean Dueling Christ
Dueling Christ Figures. But on top of it being just a really good genre movie, it's so meta and hilariously meta because it's about the person that's in it. And it's about 2 characters writing a movie, which the movie that you're seeing then becomes.
Yeah. It kind of is like Adaptation in that way as well, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything that happens in this movie is in some way or another inspired by specific Nick Cage films.
That's just so awesome. And you can tell with the people that made it with him that they all just love him and love what he does.
They're super fans.
Yeah. And that's what this movie feels like. It feels like this is a movie made for and by super fans.
Yeah. And when we get to that interview, they will prove it. But
yeah,
we just watched through some of it and dude, most of the cast and the writer and everything, they grew up watching these movies.
Yeah, and he's an idol for them, literally.
He's literally a cultural icon.
We said it first, dude.
We are the tip of the spear in terms of the zeitgeist of Nicolas Cage's legacy.
That's right. Nick's the tip of the cultural spear. We're the tip of the zeitgeist spear.
Yeah, of the commentators.
Let's go, dude. I am so happy we decided to dedicate minimum, 36 hours of our life?
Just watching.
Yeah. Just
then
watching.
Double it to talk about it, then double that to edit it.
Yep.
And then,
super fans, man.
Yeah, we're the super fans.
Yeah,
welcome.
He's worth it, too, in every way.
His just checking in on the progression of his hairline has been worth it.
Beautiful.
It was looking pretty good in this film.
Good money. He's been making some money recently. He had Mandy and Out of Space.
Yeah.
He can afford the extra foof.
Yeah, they've got some real volumizing agents on his scalp, rubbing right in.
Definitely.
Going to the roots. Okay. I'm 12 Clouds. A super phenomenal Nicolas Cage fan. I'm actually technically his biggest fan.
Wow.
I'm the biggest fan of Nick Cage in this room right now.
Jesus.
And I am one of the hosts of Booty Whiskey. Here with...
Austin Jenny. I can't believe you just said that.
The second biggest Nicolas Cage fan in this room.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that. Well, when I get to meet him, I'm going to do stuff that you're not willing to do.
Wow.
You're married.
Wow.
I'm not.
I'm not married yet.
Yeah, all right. We're not seeing him that soon.
My bachelor party could change everything.
Nick Cage is your hall pass?
Kaylin doesn't know that yet, but she will.
Oh, shit.
This movie was awesome.
Incredible.
I'm going to get into a little bit of a brief synopsis for the listeners.
The babies.
The Cagelets.
Cagelets. That's what you guys are.
The Nicky babies. This is a very meta movie about an actor named Nicolas Cage.
Have you heard of him?
He's played by Nicolas Cage in this movie. It is a movie where the actor is struggling with his family relationships. He's recently divorced, joint custody of their daughter.
Yeah.
Daughter's 16. He's not doing a very good job at connecting with her.
No, he's a complete narcissist.
Very selfish.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's always pushing his interests onto her and expecting her to just be super intrigued and reciprocate and everything. And, she's a 16-year-old girl. She's got her own fucking life.
Yeah, she doesn't care about black and white movies.
Yeah, he's trying to get her to watch 100-year-old German art house movies and Caligari's Cabinet or some. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's like, what the fuck is
out
this?
of here.
So you've got that as your sort of starting point. Add on top of that, he's not exactly getting the roles he wants, and he's concerned about he hasn't in the past been concerned about this, but he's developing a concern for the sort of status of his career, like the mythos of his career, the arc, the trajectory.
Yeah.
He's like, my whole life I've just been working, just doing movies, movie after movie, and I haven't thought about it, but I'm starting to, and it's becoming important that I become a star. I need to be a certain type of star.
Yeah.
And he's getting concerned, and then he doesn't get the role that he was really hoping he would get.
Oh, that was a funny scene too.
Dude, he's like
that's an intense scene.
He's pitching himself to the director, or maybe it's the producer.
That's probably a famous director too. I couldn't recognize him, but I bet it is.
It's at least got to be based on a real person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whoever that was based on was probably laughing his ass off.
I'm sure.
But he's at a lunch with this guy, and they're talking shop, and you can tell the decision hasn't been made yet, and Nick is pitching himself for the role. And he's like, yeah, I could come by, you'd talk a little bit more. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a call. And he's like, or I could read the script for you.
Who wouldn't want to hear me read anyways?
And the guy's like, you don't need to read for me. He's at a level where his talent is understood. People know what they're getting into. You don't need to audition if you're Nick Cage. If they want you, they want you. But he's so pushy about it. He's the guy's about to get into his car. He slams the car doors shut. He's like, I'm going to read. I'm going to read. I'm going to read the scene. And he just starts monologuing from the movie.
Oh, God.
And it's awkward and clunky, and the accent's a little bit off. It's supposed to be this Boston accent, and it's a gangster scene. And he's talking about how if you get shot in the head, your brain still sends nerve impulses. It takes 13 seconds for those to stop, so he can still pull the trigger. He's like, if you kill me, I'll kill you. And it was so funny because, at the end of the movie, they do a callback, and he's in a real life, gunfight scene, and he draws on that monologue again because he's just an actor. He's way over his head.
Yeah.
But when he does it, the accent's dead on. There's way more dramatic inflection.
He's channeling it perfectly.
He's perfect in it. And he just couldn't get it in the pitch, but then he gets it in the moment. And it's so funny to me that's because he's a shamanic actor.
What is it?
Shamanic nouveau shamanism method style.
It came in. It saved him in his time of need.
Yeah. The self-referential nature of this movie was just so funny, dude.
Such good callbacks, constant, but like not too cheeky either, you know? It's perfect.
It was a perfect level of fan service that felt genuinely funny,
Yeah.
reverent towards Nick Cage,
Yeah.
not like making fun of him. It wasn't like ironic love for Nick Cage.
No.
It was like clearly real.
So genuine.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was in all the right places. Like the comedic timing of this movie was flawless.
Yeah, the comedic timing, plus all of just like the general. This was a very physically humorous movie. You know,
Yeah.
Just the general like interactions between Pedro and Nick on scene. Oh my god, dude!
Nick's like hand gestures and both of their facial expressions.
So good.
Really hilarious. There's a scene early on where Javi, Pedro Pascal's character, is describing meeting Nick Cage to this woman. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he was taller than I thought. Most actors are kind of short. And she's like, was he too tall? And he's like, no, he was just right. It's just so funny, dude. It's a grown man so in love with this other actor.
This is an absolute. It's his icon.
Yeah, icon. There's a really funny shrine in this movie.
The shrine to Nick Cage.
Yeah, dude, he goes into this guy's room and it's just full of a collection of mementos from all the movies.
Yeah, awesome stuff too. Like what are the green beads? The anal beads from fucking it's Face Off? Or,
No,
that's The Rock.
It's
right?
from The Rock. It's the chemical weapon. And he says the line from the movie when he sees him. He's like, a perfect helix structure. Like, a beautiful. He's like looking at all these mementos and recalling the movies they're from and like delivering lines from each movie.
The bear down.
And then they get to the centerpiece of the collection, which is a wax statue of Nicolas Cage.
It's so ugly, dude.
It's real bad. What does he say? He's like,
It's grotesque.
It's grotesque.
How much did you pay for it?
I'll give you $20,000 for it.
Yeah, he offers him like quadruple the amount that it's
He's like,
worth.
it's not for sale. It's too valuable. And it's dressed as, what is the name of the character from Face Off? His character in Face Off.
Oh, God. The brothers.
He's awesome. He's the villain.
Oh, is Memphis?
No, that's gone in 60 seconds. We have to look it up.
There's too many good names, dude.
Castor Troy.
They're the Troy brothers.
It's dressed as Castor Troy, and it's holding the two guns, the golden guns.
the golden guns.
And they make a specific point to mention that the guns were not replicas. They're real guns that Springfield Armory specifically made custom for the movie. And I did write down that was a important moment because it's a what's it called? A Chekhov's gun.
Oh.
Are you familiar with this term?
No, I'm not. This is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Chekhov's gun is any moment in a film that shows you a gun implies, if the screenplay is good, it implies that the gun will be used.
Oh, okay.
And any movie that violates that principle is usually considered like a failure.
Don't fuck up this one thing, dude.
It's just basic storytelling principles. Like if you're gonna show the audience something that is like highly provocative, it doesn't have to be a gun. It's metaphorical, but like anything that is like highly valuable or provocative or like usable in a major plot way, don't show them it if it's not actually going to be involved in the story.
That checks out.
There's a really bad transgression of this rule it's a Tina Fey. Well, she's not even the lead. It's a Tina Fey movie. It's like a
Baby Mama?
No, it's not Baby Mama. It's like a group of 4 or 5 women. Maya Rudolph is in it. They're basically all going on a bridal party, like a
Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids.
Yeah. Bridesmaids.
Horrible transgression of Chekhov's gun rule in Bridesmaids.
Really?
One of them pulls out a bag of Molly and like waves it and is like, "You guys want to do this? I brought this. We should do it." And everybody like says no at the time. And this is early. This is in like the first act of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, at some point in this movie, they're going to do that Molly. Fucking
do.
never happens, dude. They just never address the bag of Molly again in the rest
Molly's
of the movie.
pretty serious.
Dude.
You're not going to bring up Molly in
You just Chekhov me?
Dude, I'm going to check out of this fucking movie, dude.
Jabroni, you burned me. You burned me.
You burned me, bro. We're film critics, all right?
Yeah, you burning a film critic right now?
Dude, I'll get on Yelp right now. I'll give your business a bad review.
All right, I'm derailing it. Chekhov's gun. Castor Troy.
Yep.
Guns.
Guns.
They do come up again in this movie.
They do. They're sweet.
They use them.
They're useful.
And he has the holster, like the double back holsters, and he pulls them out, like hip firing two golden
Pedro
guns.
is like, you have my back holsters?
My back holsters. Dueling Christ figures.
Dude.
Literally dueling.
I gotta say, Pedro was just such a spectacular choice for this movie. And he truly, with his presence, like rivaled Nick Cage's energy and just like his boisterousness, you know, without having to be boisterous. He just had so much life about him in every single scene, dude.
He was like a perfect counterbalance to
crazy.
what Nick was bringing.
100%.
And he has such a good, like, adoring fan energy.
Oh, man.
Like his puppy
face.
eyes, when he does puppy eyes.
When they're on acid, dude, and that
Oh my
look, the
God.
one that's a meme that every single one of you've seen. It's they're driving in a car on like a cliffy highway, and he looks over, and Pedro Pascal looks, and he just has that smile.
He's so happy. He's so enamored with Nick Cage riding in his car.
And it's a real smile, bro. Like
It's
we
so
found that out. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Pedro Pascal says in this interview that he considers Nick Cage to be his number one influence. Like, for real. Like, grew up watching all his movies, like, inspired him to become an actor.
That's
Crazy.
fucking awesome, dude. Like this was meant to be. This
Nick Cage
everything.
did not know that till after the movie.
Yeah.
He was, like, surprised in the interview. He was like, really? Holy shit, you hid that from me?
I mean, yeah. Perfect meta commentary.
Okay, let me get back to the plot, too.
Yeah.
So you've got Nicolas Cage, flopping actor, family problems. His agent gives him like a last-ditch attempt at making $1 million because he owes $600,000 in hotel fees.
Yeah.
Because he's been living in this expensive hotel for over a year. He doesn't want to do it because it's tacky to do birthday parties.
Lowbrow.
It's a birthday party. Come on. He's trying to get the acting gig of his life here. But instead, he gets turned down and he does this birthday party.
Yeah.
It's just like an appearance. It's not even an acting role. He just appears, make people laugh.
Yeah,
He's
hang
like, what,
out.
like a clown?
That's not all I am to you.
A dancing monkey? But he kind of has no choice because he does have debt and he doesn't have a role.
Yeah.
So he takes the birthday gig, and it turns out that it is being hosted by a crime family in Spain.
Yeah.
That-
Javi.
By Javi, that just recently perpetrated a kidnapping of a politician's daughter.
Yeah, Catalonia's daughter. The president of Catalonia's daughter.
Because the politician is very like hard on crime, and they're trying to leverage into drop out of the race to get someone that'll go easier on the cartels. Yada, yada, yada. Right place, wrong time.
Yeah.
He's now in the mix with FBI agents who are staking out this like property, and they task him with basically like being their infiltrator.
Yeah, he has to spy it up, dude. He has to subterfuge.
Yeah, the spycraft subterfuge stuff, you know. It's pretty funny watching him sort of like bumble through the spycraft.
I really did enjoy the door scene.
Where he touches his face with the sleeping agent.
Yeah.
It's not even sleeping. I think it's lethal.
I don't think it was just called the incapacitating agent, so I doubt it was lethal.
They were vague, but they did
Yeah.
they kept implying he was going to die tonight
Oh.
if he didn't get to that antidote.
Oh.
They're
Maybe.
like- She's like,
damn.
this isn't the night you die. And the other guy's like, I think it kind of is.
Oh, shit, dude. Okay.
So I think it was lethal. Or maybe they were implying that if he went unconscious,
Oh, got
the
caught.
cartel would
yeah.
kill him.
Yeah, yeah. Either way. Yeah.
They equip him with a nerve agent that is like touch based, like a contact agent.
Yeah, you peel it, you put it on your hand, and then peel off the cover.
And
if
he's
you touch
supposed
someone,
he's supposed to like hit the guard with it, but he just like wipes his forehead because he's sweating, and he's like, "I think I touched my forehead, you guys." They're
I'm
like,
not sure.
They're like, "Wait, did you touch your forehead?" He's like, "I don't know, I can't remember." "No, I don't think I did it." And then he's like, it kicks in. He's like, "Oh, I definitely touched my forehead," and he passes out.
Dude, the continuous downshift of his voice through that whole scene was so funny. He's coming out the window, trying to climb into the server room, and he says, "My legs like butter."
He's got like
Like
the Will.
rubber.
He's got the Will Ferrell voice when he gets tranked in Old School. They keep pitching it down further the more tranked up he gets.
Oh,
He's
great.
like inchworming his body through the server room to get the mic, the camera feed tapped.
Dude, there's just no way. It's always so preposterous. It was so funny.
It was funny and unbelievable
Yeah.
in the perfect way that like a comedy action movie should be funny and unbelievable.
Definitely.
Like Owen Wilson action movie type of thing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like Shanghai Noon or whatever. It's like you don't actually believe that this person could do these things.
No.
But you suspend that disbelief because like the jokes keep you going.
Of course, the idea of just Nick Cage running around with some fucking cartel boss around this like quaint little Spain town tripping on acid.
So the other big plot point is that the person, Javi, who the FBI believes is the cartel boss, he's also a super fan of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And he's a screenwriter. And he wants to have Nick Cage be in his movie. And, you know, Nick Cage does decline that role, but as a way of like staying for more time in the
To keep
compound
spying.
to do the mission, he offers to write a new movie with him together, like start from scratch and write something, a joint project. And this is the part of the movie where everything sort of starts to pivot.
Yeah.
And it goes from being meta in the sense that, okay, we've got Nick Cage playing Nick Cage. And that's very meta. It's lots of callbacks to movies he's been in, lots of references to his real life, etc. It becomes meta in a second layer now because the movie that they begin to write together is the movie that this movie slowly transforms into as you're watching it.
Yeah, it's really neat and really well done.
It's a very cool
Yeah.
script in that way. It's
Yeah.
very smartly written. And it does happen slowly. So this effect creeps up on you.
And the payoff at the end is so good.
It's so good. So they start writing this movie. They're like, you know, brainstorming, like, I want it to be a character-driven adult drama.
Yeah.
Really all about the performance. No cheesy special effects, etc. And they're like getting all stoked. And it's like, yeah, but what's this about? It's like that classic moment where two guys get too hyped on an idea and realize they don't have an idea.
Anything.
They just really want to do something. They have no idea. Then they realize that, then they take acid together.
Yeah, for divine inspiration.
Yeah. And during or after the acid trip, Javi realizes that their movie should be about themselves, about their relationship with each other as friends and as men, as tough men
That's
who
right
are
at the end-
sensitive.
right at the end of their acid trip, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's sort of like the pivotal moment where from this point in the movie on, every time that they make a revelation about their script, like what their movie needs, that revelation inks its way like into what you're watching.
Yeah, they talk about the first time they bring up the kidnapping, Nick Cage's daughter is going to get kidnapped, and then it fucking happens. It's super neat how they tied it all in like that.
And they say, it's kind of about two dueling Christ figures, which is pretty revolutionary in its own right. But then like a few scenes later, you've got these two guys having a literal duel with guns. And then in the next scene, they both try to sacrifice their lives to save the people around them. And it's like, okay, they are now literally dueling Christ figures.
Literally.
And the whole payoff is just like a pun. And so you go through all these scenes just to get there, and it's so satisfying.
Yes. I do agree. We should watch that acid trip.
Yeah, we got some clips here for
We
you.
got some clips, baby.
This scene felt so true to what it's like being on acid. The way
Insane.
that their perceptions just and like their judgment just shifts on a dime.
On a dime, the paranoia instantly.
Maybe we could have like a paranoid thriller angle.
Paranoid angle. Excellent. Like, see those two guys over there? They've been watching us.
Right. Wait, have they been watching us?
I don't know.
The music.
It just becomes real.
Did you see that? They just looked over at us.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What's going on?
No, maybe it was just a coincidence. I will look again. Are you ready?
No, don't make eye contact. That's how you spook them.
No, that's how you spook a bear.
That's right. That is how you spook a bear. I apologize. But if you are gonna look, maybe do like a fake laugh.
Fake laugh, okay, good.
The look on his face. I wish you people could see
Get
that.
up slowly. On
You've
the
got to
count of
watch the
3
movie.
and run.
Let's get up slowly and run.
He looks over at these two innocent bystanders.
They're just sitting there eating some food.
He has that panicked, stressed out look on his face with a fake smile and that canned laughter, and he is literally hugging his knees.
He looks so tight.
It's so tense. He just looks so unwell and unhinged.
He looks like a crazy person on acid, dude.
It's so, yeah.
He
Dude,
nailed that look.
his acid face is impeccable.
So good.
Like when he's in the car.
So good.
And like the looks of euphoria and then the looks of paranoia.
He has to have tripped.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
That's like real experience.
Yeah.
He knows what you look like. He's spent time just staring at himself in a mirror.
Yep. Those are some times.
The way that they shift, they're just sitting there talking about their screenplay. He's like, we should do like a thriller angle, like a paranoid. He's like, ooh, paranoid angle.
Like those people over there, they've been watching us this
He's
whole
like,
time.
yeah, those people over there. And then it just shifts. He's like, they've been watching us. And the music starts kicking in, dude. Once your brain goes there. And the way that the scene unfolds, they run away.
To that brick wall. Dude, it's so
Run into
serious.
a wall. They can't get over it. Javi's like, use me as a human stool. He gets on him, gets up on the wall. He can't pick him up. He's like, just go without me. They're so dramatic.
Drops him too, and then he gets back up too. Oh my god.
And literally nothing is happening around them.
No.
It's just all manufactured psychological drama.
Yeah, that's it. Just
Exactly.
a very intense scene for
Yeah.
no reason. It's beautiful.
Love that. Okay, I've got another scene here that we should hit now.
Yeah.
It is from when they're talking film. They're getting to know each other earlier on, and they're talking about their top 3 movies. Oh, yeah. And they've already gone through the first 2. The top #1 movie that Javi lists, best movie all time,
Immediately.
Face Off. No hesitation.
Face off.
It's like Face Off, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
And then #2 is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is the one that he was trying to get his daughter to watch. Ridiculous.
Seriously.
And then you get this scene.
Thank you. Look, can you just stop stalling and answer the question? What is your 3rd favorite movie of all time?
Paddington 2.
What? Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Paddington 2. Connect those dots. I mean, I don't want to be a snob, but...
I cried through the entire thing. It made me want to be a better man.
Bullshit, Mom!
It's one of the best delivered lines in the movie. They're watching the movie
Paddington
now.
2 is incredible.
I fucking told you.
So good.
I cried through the whole thing. It made me want to be a better man.
Dude, one of the best delivered lines in the whole movie. The seriousness and the gravitas that he delivers that with.
He means it so much.
I wanted to be a better man.
Have you seen Paddington 2?
I haven't.
I kind of want to watch it now.
Well, it's mandatory now.
No.
They put it in the movie. Okay, there's a few things in this movie that I need to investigate further.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, Paddington 2, of course.
Clearly.
Guarding Tess.
Yeah, the one about the first lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Cage. I think it's a real movie. There's a lot of these references of like characters in this movie watching real Nick Cage movies. And then there's lots of like less overt references to movies as well. Mm-hmm. But one of them that I haven't seen was Guarding Tess, and he plays a Secret Service agent who is tasked with protecting the First Lady.
It looks pretty cagey.
It looks bad.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
That's
gonna
that
watch
shit
it.
I like, baby.
I want to investigate further what the movie was in the very first opening scene that girl was watching.
I think it is Con Air.
I need to know what that movie was. I need to watch Guarding Tess. Was there anything else? Oh, Captain Corvelli's mandolin.
Oh yeah, I have no fucking idea.
That was referenced by Nick Cage in this movie. I had never heard of that.
Yeah, he said it was pretty underrated too.
Yeah. And yes, one of the characters said that it was one of their favorite Nick Cage movies to him. They were like gushing. They're like, you're my favorite. And they're like, you were so good in Captain Corvelli's mandolin. It's like so underrated.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. I don't know if they made that up for this movie or if that's a real thing. So I need to look that up.
Probably could.
Yeah, if we were a better produced podcast, I'd look it up right now.
We need a guy, all right?
Yeah,
Once we get our guy. Once we get our Jamie.
Jimmy, Google Captain Corvelli's mandolin
Pull it up.
in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Stat.
There was a pretty cool reference to adaptation. Did I already mention that?
Yeah,
The
with just
split
the double-
personality thing?
Yeah.
I got a clip from that.
Yeah. Which one?
Oh, wait.
The
No,
one we
we played it
started
at the
with?
top. Dude, okay. But I want to explain more because we just sort of played it and moved
Yeah.
on. That was one of the funniest fucking recurring jokes of this movie.
Yeah.
It is Nick Cage's sort of like inner monologue that he uses to like check himself.
He's such a psycho, dude.
It's like a younger version of himself.
Yeah.
Who's just cutthroat and wants to be the biggest star.
Dressed in all leather, has like weird, longish, like Bieber hair.
He's got like 90s Cage hair. Yeah. Clean shaven.
Yeah.
More like youthful and muscular.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a leather jacket. And he basically represents like Nick Cage's ego, like the id.
Yeah.
He just wants to win. He doesn't care about his family.
I'd be down to watch that again.
So funny, dude.
We haven't worked since you were 15. 41 years! To be number 7 on the call sheet of a goddamn student film. I think it's a good idea. You listen to me. You're Nick Whoa, Cage!
And then he proceeds to make out with himself moments after this.
Yeah, his young self gropes and like essentially molests his older self. Grabs his ass, makes out with him, and he's like, you tell the world that Nicolas Cage is a great smoocher.
Oh my god, dude. That is so fucking funny.
That's just one of the scenes we pulled up, but there's like 3 or 4 of those where he's like just popping up, having these like dialogues with himself.
Yeah. Trying to make Cage into a star.
And he's conflicted. He's like, I want to do this artsy movie, or I want to go be with my family. And then his id is like, you need to do the biggest fucking blockbuster movie and only focus on your work. We're going to the parties after.
Your daughter will only like you if you're a superstar.
Yeah. And that kind of segues into something I wanted to mention, which is that this movie, despite the fact that it's like distinctly a comedy and an action movie,
Yeah.
it's also like very genuine and heartfelt.
I actually shed a tear.
Really?
I did. Yeah.
It's like really a moving
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, when they were talking at the table, once the daughter and the dad actually got like kind of more serious, yeah, like I actually a little right eye tear welled up. I was like, oh
Yeah,
fuck,
they really dug into this relationship with the daughter.
Yeah.
And the tension between wanting to be a family man and wanting to pursue your dream.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrificing your dream for the quality of life with your family.
Yeah. It was very wholesome and well, really believable too.
Yeah.
Actually, like if I knew that Nick Cage didn't have a daughter, but she could have been him or her,
Yeah.
easily.
And we should play this interview too, because it's actually pretty insightful. But we learned from the interview, maybe you knew before, but he does not have a real life daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe more of it was real because I know his divorce was real.
Yeah.
So if that was real, then maybe this other stuff was real. But a lot of it was just purely made up for the movie, just because the the writer thought it would just like tell a better story.
For sure.
Which is right, and that's totally fair.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
It's just a fiction movie.
It's the unbearable weight of massive talent, my guy.
It's the unbearable weight of a huge sack.
Whose sack? Cage's sack?
Yeah, his balls. His
What?
sweet, sweaty nuts. Hall pass.
The bees.
He says the bees in the movie. I love it. The fan service was beautiful and not overdone.
Nope. It was just well deserved.
It was a tasteful fan service. And honestly, I think a lot of times when you have long-awaited sequels to things, some directors and writers, they try to hold back on the fan service because they think it's going to be corny.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it is corny too.
Sometimes it is corny, but like when you get no fan service and you are the old school fan and you're like, yeah, I'm watching the 20-year remake of whatever your insert cult phenomenon here.
Yeah.
And then you don't get the fan service, it hurts, man.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
Hurts.
I want to see that. I want
Show
to be
me-
spurned into action.
Show me that you love the subject as much as I do.
Yeah.
I want to know the writers are on board.
Definitely.
And they're on board with this
Dude,
one.
they prove it right now.
Huge congratulations on this movie.
Thank you so much. Happy to
Absolutely.
speak with you.
I've seen it twice now, and I expected it to
great.
be a lot of fun, but I'm still blown away by how incredibly smart that script is.
Did you see it in the theater, in the cinema with other folks?
I did. The
Yeah.
first time I was not with a lot of people, and then the second time I was with a packed house, and like it plays well in both scenarios, but man, with a crowd, is it powerful.
I'm glad you said so. I had the same experience in Texas, and I was so happy. It felt like a return to what I call the church of the cinema, where everybody in the room was like a family member of sorts. We were all laughing together. There was an electricity in the room, and it made me really warm my heart, and I do recommend seeing this movie in the theater.
Okay, so that leads into my first question here, because back in the fall, you told one of my colleagues that you would never watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So now that you've seen it, are you glad you watched it? And is there anything you took from it that surprised you?
Well, I had to watch it because my other hat on this movie was producer. And as a producer, it got to a point where, the studio had an opinion and the director had an opinion, and it was time for fresh eyes. And I had to, shut off half my mind and half my heart and look at the movie from a place of neutral. And as a producer, I was able to say, to the studio, I think you got to put some of Tom's flavor back in the movie. You're losing a lot of the flavor of the comedy. And to Tom, I had to say, I think these two scenes aren't landing. And I'm glad I did it because I think we finally got to a place where the movie works as a whole in the best possible way, the best of both worlds.
Interesting.
But seeing it in the theater, just as an audience member, that was fun. That was really great.
Just because I'm curious now, what specifically is that Tom flavor that you think the movie needed more of?
Well, not worrying so much about checking all the boxes, with a, Mike, what do they call that? Those groups?
We need a
thank
mic.
you. Focus groups. We got to make the character more likable. And then they lose some of the self-deprecating humor or the irreverent humor that Tom had. Like, okay, the piano scene where the character is drunk and he's playing piano, he's making a mess at the birthday party. They homogenized it so much that the Nick Cage character wasn't doing anything wrong, and everybody was rolling their eyes. Like, well, he's just singing a sweet song to his daughter. You got to make it more of a train wreck at the risk of him being less likable, because the character has to grow. He has to evolve into a sensitive family man. In my own life, Nicolas Cage begins as family first. I'm not someone who's a career-minded person that at the sacrifice of his family, but that was not the story Tom Gormican was trying to tell.
All right, big broad question before they kick me out of here. So obviously your filmography is incredible. It's just packed with very different, bold roles. And, it's always made me wonder, does anything scare you? Have you ever been offered a part and said to yourself, like, I don't know if I could do that?
Yeah, this was the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my entire body of work. I mean,
wow.
I think I've done some of the best work in the last 10 years of my entire life. And
Agreed.
I put massive talent in that period, which has been in some ways marginalized by certain folks in the media. But I think I'll put Pig and Massive Talent and Mandy and Color Out of Space and Bad Lieutenant and Joe and The Trust and the Runner up against anything I did in the first 30 years. But in all that time, in the 43 years I've been doing it, Massive Talent is hands down the scariest thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Paid off to jump feet
Big
first
comments,
into that then.
seriously.
So huge congratulations to you. And
I really like how specific he got when he was detailing that incident of like
With the piano
changing
scene?
something. Yeah, that's really interesting to see.
Yeah,
that
usually
process.
people just gloss over those questions,
No,
and he
for
really
sure.
gave you the real info.
they made me too likable. I needed to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool insight to see his perspective as a producer on a movie too.
100%.
Yeah, to shut off half my mind, half my heart. Try to be neutral.
Yeah, God, I can't even imagine. You're the movie.
Yeah.
You're the whole movie.
You're watching yourself.
Yeah.
And being neutral and objective about that. He's very smart about his craft.
He's just you can tell he's just a very smart person, I think.
And he really has a deep understanding of like storytelling, character arc, how to deliver the message and the ideas, and this medium that he's in, he gets it.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the best.
It's the tip of the spear.
The zeitgeist begins with booty whiskey.
It's actually pretty interesting too, because most people I talk to that don't give Nick Cage the time of day, like actually consider him a bad actor. Like they literally just think of him as a joke, or just just like someone who's the beast, that sort of shit.
And I don't hold it against him.
Either do I.
Because
It's just a shame.
It is a shame, but he's given that perspective a lot of ammo to work
100%.
with, and he does have a lot of weird, questionable acting decisions.
Totally.
It's just when you look at the full body of work,
Yeah.
and you start to see the good moments outweighing the bad moments, and you see the range.
Yeah, the contrast between the good and the bad too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then you hear him talk about acting, process, theory,
I know.
and you realize even when he's doing a bad performance, bad in air quotes, he's doing it with intentionality. Like it's a decision that he's made because he's a nouveau shamanistic method actor who is like embodying the spirit of a character and letting them flow through him and letting it change him in the moment. And it's like, dude, Tom Cruise could never do that.
Tom Cruise can fuck off. I'm saying it now. We don't want Tom Cruise on this podcast. Fuck Scientology.
Yeah, fuck Scientology. We did have John Travolta in one movie. We made fun of him pretty good, though.
Yeah, he deserved it.
I'm not going to take away from Tom Cruise's acting chops because he's a terrific actor.
Sure.
He's in a lot of classic films. And he has killed his roles in most of the things he's done, to be perfectly honest.
Definitely.
He's a loon.
You've seen the South Park episode.
But more importantly to this discussion, he's just basic.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at a traditional acting style that is based on reading the script, representing like what's on the page to the camera.
Yeah, and cut and dry too. You know, he's not taking those those like crazy
Yeah.
liberties. and
Exactly.
such.
Like his dramatic chops are there.
Yeah.
But like he's not necessarily like creative. He's just doing the job. Nick Cage is changing the medium.
Yeah. Literally.
He is like changing himself through his participation in the medium. He is like living his art, which is just a different thing altogether.
Entirely different level.
It's Kendrick Drake all over again.
We know who the pedophile is.
Nicolas Cage is the Kendrick Lamar of Hollywood. Or
Just
no,
out here bodying him.
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar is the Nicolas Cage of the rap game.
That's huge.
You heard it here on Booty Whiskey.
Tip of the Oh my goodness.
This was just such a fun movie, dude.
Just a blast. I mean, I was laughing like almost the whole time.
That psychotic LSD scene was hilarious.
Yep.
All the references were hilarious. Pedro Pascal was wonderful.
Godly.
The way that the movie transformed into the movie they were writing was just tickled my funny bone. And like, I really like meta shit.
Yeah.
I love adaptation. I think it's that makes me think we are going to do the bracket. I was about to say, I think it's one of the best movies we've watched of the 16. Well, we've only watched 15 so far.
Yeah. It is one of the best movies we've watched.
It's going to be a contender for me, but now I'm thinking of Mandy.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
thinking of this one.
Pig, too, even. Yeah. Yeah. Color Out of Space, what a wild watch that was. That was so much fun.
Fucking trippy and gory. My sister was like, if anything happens to that alpaca or the dog, those alpacas or the dog, I'm out.
Whoops.
I was like, you should just watch. You're gonna like it. Like, didn't say anything about what's gonna happen.
Gonna like it.
And then she didn't bring it up when I asked her how she felt about the movie.
Yeah.
Like, not my favorite, but
Yeah.
I was like, so we're gonna talk about the alpaca, the meat, the flesh bag fusion of five alpacas, or nope.
No.
The trauma's real.
That's okay.
But yeah, man, doing the March Madness bracket of these 16 movies is going to be hard.
It's a lot.
Some of them-
Some might even say it's an unbearable weight.
A massive bracket. What an undertaking we have before us.
Seriously.
One more movie to watch, and
Yeah.
then we've got to do our bracket and determine what is the best Nicolas Cage movie, at least of the 16 we picked.
Out of these 16. I think we're getting some of the best picks, too, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like...
Maybe we can do a few honorable mentions now.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually down the road we'll do a follow-up or something. But we do have other, no spoilers, but we have other ideas for like season 2, maybe like a season 3 of like different actor or actress, different bodies of work. Maybe one day we do like a genre-themed thing. But a few runners-up that just didn't quite make the cut. We were considering Lord of War,
Yeah.
Con Air,
Yeah.
Moonstruck,
Yep. Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
There's quite a few others, I think, too.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah.
He's got like 200 entries on
He has
IMDb
way
as
too
an
many.
actor.
Con Air, yeah, he said.
Got to watch
Willy's-
Croods too now.
Willy's Wonderland. What the fuck is that, dude?
But yeah, those 4 or 5 we just mentioned were like the serious runner-up
Yeah.
considerations.
Yeah.
And then he's got a list of 100 other like sort of subpar movies
That's so crazy.
that are in there. We talked about Bad Lieutenant, Snake Eyes, but those were even further down the list than like Con Air and Lord of War.
Yeah. We were trying to hit like almost cultural moments. you know?
Weatherman
Yeah.
was in the contender. We were sort of going between Weatherman and Matchstick Man, and we went with Matchstick Man. But I'm pretty happy with the 16 we picked, and doing this bracket is going to be fucking tough.
I know. It's going to be really a challenge. We have to talk about so much shit.
We're going to
off
need to
mic.
come up with like a scoring rubric.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
what are the characteristics we're even judging?
Hairline.
Cage levels,
That's it.
meta level, critical review. Fuck them.
Out. We're the critics.
Yeah.
Booty. Whiskey.
The whiskey critics are here. But yeah, man, I really recommend that everyone not only watches this movie, but like watches a ton of Nick Cage movies and then watches this movie.
I know. I really hope that people get in on this, like with us, and like start each movie right before.
Oh yeah, well, we'll say this. This is episode 15, so if you've made it this far,
let's go.
But maybe we'll do like an introductory thing. But people should definitely be watching these movies with the release of each episode, so you're on board with what we're talking about.
Unless you just like to hear us describe them.
But specifically, our podcast aside,
Yeah.
to watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, you should load up on a bunch of Nick Cage movies in your repertoire, because this movie doesn't make sense as much. Like, sure, it's watchable.
Yeah.
It has a followable plot. Like, it literally does make sense.
Yeah.
But it's just so much better if you get the references.
Dude, it was just a treat for us today. It was just like eating a piece of candy for 2 hours.
Yeah, but like candy that transformed into something savory as well.
Delicious.
Yeah. Delicious. He was just right.
Just right. Delicious. Do you want to get into that other interview at all?
Yes, I do. This is a pretty cool interview.
Yeah. This one was like pretty much the whole cast and crew of the main characters.
Few differences, I mean, between who I am in my own life and the vision that Tom had. I call him the mind, because this all came from his mind and Kevin's mind. But he always said that neurotic Nick Cage is the best Nick Cage. So he would push me more in those realms of mania and anxiety, which is fun. I mean, it was fun, but I would say, well, it's not really me when I'm at home with my cat, but that's not as much fun.
I stand by my claim that neurotic Cage is the best Cage.
I'm Nick Friggin! Okay!
The day we were shooting the scene where Nick is talking to the younger version of himself, and Nick came to us beforehand and said he thought that the younger version should grab the older version, and at the end of the scene give him a big long kiss, and then say, "You tell him Nick Cage smooch is good." And I've really never laughed harder and been more like psyched about an actor's
that's
idea.
Nick Cage's idea.
Well, we were talking about that early on. I mean, I was
that's
trying to
right,
get that
'cause
in the script the whole time, because having to play two versions of myself in a movie that's sort of about some Tom Cormican version of myself. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go full Bugs Bunny on this. I mean, Bugs Bunny was kissing everybody and everything, and it was very aggressive. And yeah, I'm kissing myself. I'm literally the process of making this movie on some level was like making out with myself, and it was just weird, And everything about it is uncomfortable and terrifying. But I thought, yeah, it all has to come to that moment. We have to keep that in the movie.
Nick has sort of transcended the idea of being an actor. He's like a cultural figure in our minds, and we just thought
iconic.
This story had to be about him. There was no one else who could play it. So, from a purely business standpoint, it was like a colossally stupid decision to make a movie that only one person could do and say yes or no to. So, but there was no one else. But I mean, it's a very strange thing to say. We're just making up a version of a human being.
They knew a lot about my interests, which I also found that level of detail, that attention to detail, put the hook in me. Thinking about Javi, because I loved that character, and I thought it was, for my money, it was the most well-written character in the movie and was the best part in the movie. And I kept saying to Pedro, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll trade parts with you, because I loved his part. That's a true story. You can back me up on that. But when I was imagining Javi, I really kept seeing his face, and so that's was amazing to me when I met your face. I kept seeing, when I would read the script, his face, and that was very interesting. So when they cast him, it was like, wow, this was almost like magic,
I will say we had lunch with Pedro during the process, and he was such a fan in real life of Nick's, so that when we were talking about it, we kept coming back to, like, Pedro is such a real fan of Nick's and a real fan of movies, and there was so much overlap there that we thought that dynamic would play in the film, and I think it does.
It's so weird to talk about it with you sitting next to me. I've talked about it so much without you in the room, which is a lot easier. So I knew I wanted to be an actor quite young. I came up with this fantasy because we would go to the movies so much as a family. And so as a child, the kinds of performances that were imprinted into my experience were yours. I feel like this is a kind of confession. I feel like I have to turn to you and like confess. So there isn't anything more surreal than I've done than to actually get to travel and go and be on set with Nick and act with him and be his scene partner, because he's my biggest influence.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought he was method
Pedro
acting the whole
Pascal's
time.
biggest influence.
That's amazing, man. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
he's the
Thank you. Well,
Dude,
Yeah, man, they love that guy.
they love that guy.
Like, for real.
For real, yeah, you can tell. Literally all of them, just to look up to him, all of it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He's a leader in the industry.
This is just a super fan movie.
It's such a cool kind of return to form for Nick Cage over the last, 6 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He said the last 10 in that one interview.
Yeah.
And he threw in a couple movies that maybe are questionable. I don't think he was there in 2014.
Yeah.
But 2000,
17.
what movie came out that year?
No idea.
I want to say Mandy sort of kicked off this whole resurgence of art house and cool, creative, popular movies again.
Yeah.
2019 till now. The last 5 years for me has been an amazing return to form for Nick Cage. Actually, it's not even a return to form. It's going above and beyond to a new form.
You know when it was?
Oh,
When the Crudes came.
the Crudes too. And
yeah, I mean,
Spider-Man Noir.
I would agree, because, yeah, everything before Mandy is just stuff that I don't even recognize.
It was just nothing that was getting really well received.
Yeah, Spider-Man Noir, dude. That's going to be fucking sweet.
Dude, I loved his little cameo in Into the Multiverse or Spider-Verse.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that they're picking that up for a full TV series starring live action 60-year-old Nick Cage is so good.
Ooh, that's what a spicy
I
treat
can't wait.
for us. It's like they knew. It's like
Yeah.
they know Booty Whiskey's about to be dropping.
We about to get bonus episodes.
Seriously. You guys.
You're
going to get bonus episodes.
Y'all about to get bonus episodes. up in here.
Bro, we only got one left. We got
kinda-
Dream Scenario.
It's kind of bittersweet.
Got a little sadness in me about it, you
I'm
know?
gonna cry.
I'm gonna, the next whole episode is just going,
I cried through the whole thing, and it made me want to be a better man.
joke's on you. We're not doing the next episode. We're doing Paddington 2.
Paddington
special
2.
Booty Whiskey Edition.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Here at the end of this episode, it does give me sort of the realization if I were to have any critique of this movie,
Yeah.
while it is very funny, it's a great watch, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really leave you with anything actually. There's no message.
No, it's not meant for that.
You don't take anything away from this movie, really.
Yeah.
It does have touching moments with the father-daughter, but there's nothing deep really that you walk away from this movie with
Yeah.
and carry with you in your life. It's just a moment. You like it.
Yeah.
It's over. You can return to it. It'll still be great, but this isn't like Adaptation or Leaving Las Vegas.
Definitely not.
Or Color Out of Space, where
Yeah.
it just gives your mind something
Yeah,
to
provokes
grapple with.
things you don't have an option but to think about those
This
things.
was not a provocative movie.
No, it
So-
was just a fun-ass, good-ass time.
And that's what it's supposed to be. So I don't want to say that as if it's some sort of flaw.
Yeah.
It's
Just
not a flaw in the movie.
just
It's
noting it.
If I had to make a critique, because I am sitting here at the end of what we've just recorded, and I'm sort of thinking well, we didn't really talk about
No, I mean,
much other than just liking the movie. I'm just realizing that that's okay too.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
This is that
Especially
kind of
when it's such a well-loved movie from the people who made it, it's okay to just be like that.
movie. It felt like a victory lap.
Hardcore victory lap. Huge W movie, dude.
Yeah, huge dubs.
Sweet, man.
Well, catch
sir.
you next week.
Next week, episode 16. Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario, the final episode of season 1 of Booty Whiskey.
Jesus. See you next time.
Love you guys.
It's Nicolas Cage, it's Pedro Pascal. What more could you ask for? It's better than Paddington 2. It's Nicolas Cage, it's Pedro Pascal. What more could you ask for? It's better than Paddington 2. It made us better men, it made us better men. Dueling Christ figures in a world of sin. It made us better men. In a world of sin. Is on the down and out. Hollywood agent turned him down. Pedro can be the one to pick him up if they can write a script that doesn't suck. Acid paranoia in a Spanish villa. The FBI wants him to be a killer. Is that guy looking at us? Oh my God, he's looking at us. It's Nicolas Cage, it's Pedro Pascal. What more could you ask for? It's better than Paddington 2. It made us better men. It made us better men. Dueling Christ figures in a world of sin. It made us better men. It made us better men. Dueling Christ figures in a world of sin. It's Nicolas Cage, it's Pedro Pascal. What more could you ask for? It's better than Paddington 2. It made us better men. It made us better men. Dueling Christ figures in a world of sin. It made us better men. It made us better men. Dueling Christ figures in a world of sin.